Hello YouTube. I got a few things to say. I moved, so I will be filming in different locations than my old apartment. This is my new bathroom. You can't really get a good look at it at the moment. And I also have some better lighted rooms. For this video in particular, I do need to use my bathroom though. And that brings me to, I have a little bit of a different video for you guys. Today we will be discussing bangs. It's been quite a while since I've had any bangs, and I've just kind of gotten in the mood to have some. And today in particular, I am going for something I've never really had before, which is Bettie bangs. Now, I will be going through the process of cutting, so I can give you some different types of bangs that will help you with your own. You can kind of fake Bettie bangs to see if it's what you want. You can just kind of take the bangs and roll them up and kind of manipulate their shape, and they'll give you a somewhat idea if you would like it on yourself, or you can even go all out and do an actual style of bangs where you kind of need to pre-curl the hair to make it easier, and then roll it up just like a pin curl and then pin it in place. See if I can do it real quick for you. Don't pay too much attention to the mess, but what you would do is you would just kind of use some hairspray, do some teasing, manipulate its shape to see if you would like it, or you can just use that style if you don't want to cut your bangs, but say for Halloween you want to do a Bettie bang, just in case you're doing a Bettie costume. But I will actually be cutting my bangs. And so let's go through the tools that you'll need. You will need some good scissors. I have some actual hair scissors for cutting, and I recommend that you have some really good scissors to cut your hair, otherwise it's difficult, it's hard to manage, and it just gives you a lot of trouble. You'll want a fine-tooth comb, preferably one with a rat tail. This will help you part your hair. I set my hair in some really quick pin curls, and I slept in them. I just wanted to get the full effect when I was done with my bangs and see the whole look together instead of having to wait. So I'm kind of excited. And then what you want to do is you want to just brush out a front area. You would part it like I did. I have kind of a squared off part, or even a triangle part. I'm going pretty far back on the head to give me a very full bang. So the closer you are to your hairline, the thinner the bangs will be. So just keep that in mind. Obviously for Bettie Page bangs, you're going to want very full bangs, and you want to just part it in the way you want. It's not super important. I just find that something kind of soft, a little bit rounded, is nicer than, say, perfectly square or perfectly triangle, even though that might be a bit of a triangular circle shape or whatever. So I already have my part, as I've said a million times, and I'm going to brush out the hair, make sure it's nice and smooth. And in the next part, you can either cut your hair dry or cut your hair wet. And I've seen people say that one's wrong and one's right, and neither one is wrong or neither one is the only way to do it. The thing with, if you cut your hair wet, which I've done a million times, you have to make room for it when it's dry, because it's going to shrink up. So if you cut your bangs wet, you don't want to say cut up here, because it's probably going to start moving way up here when it dries. And you just gotta really make room for that. I'm going to go ahead and cut mine dry today. And obviously when it's dry, you don't have to make room for it to shrink. And the best thing I can say is to do it a bit at a time. You can always cut more, but you cannot cut less. So there's a good year of growth. Aw, I will miss you. But sometimes it's nice for change. And so there is just a very flat cut bang. Obviously I just kind of went across, and at this point you can either make some other areas that come down and give it a soft shape. So it would just do a layer where you cut straight across and then you start to come down at an angle. And this just gives you some soft pieces at the side to hang down when you have a bun or any types of those things. And if it's too harsh, you can just go in and say like this. Use your comb so you have a nice angle and cut upward slightly at an angle instead of straight across. And this will soften the blunt and just give it a slight layering. I'm going to go in and just cut a few of the extra hairs that got missed. This is not a Bettie bang, by the way. This is just a regular flat cut bang. And the reason I wanted to do this in a bathroom so much is because when you sit here and trim off your bangs like this, you get little tiny hairs all over your face, and you're going to need to wash it off your face and wash it off the scissors as well. So I haven't had bangs like this in a while. This is what I used to always have for pretty much all my teenage years and right before I started really making videos. And I'm going to go ahead and start shaping it into a Bettie bang. And with a Bettie bang, there's two ways you can do it. You can do what's called a V shape, where the middle point is longer than the sides and it's at a very strong angle, literally a V. I'm going to be doing what's called a U shape, which is the same thing but with a softer edge. And remember, you can always cut more, but you can't cut less. So I'm just going to sit here and do it a little bit at a time. Now with bangs, obviously it takes a lot of maintenance. You have to trim it almost daily, but at least weekly. And especially with Bettie bangs, I'm probably going to be doing quite a bit of maintenance. So I'm just coming around the sides and I'm just cutting upward to give it a very rounded edge. As you can see, it's starting to get kind of rounded. And with cutting bangs, you really just want to kind of take it a bit at a time, comb it out, see what you got going on, maybe get a few of these little hairs out of your eyes. You don't need to be in a hurry. That's the worst thing you can do, is be in a hurry. So you want to take your time, just do it itsy bitsy cuts at a time. Careful not to get the rest of your hair. And even though my hair is in pin curls, you can do whatever you need to do to get your hair out of the way. But for sure, you need to get the rest of your hair out of the way. And often when you cut your bangs, or any hair into any style for that matter, you have to go back in later on after you've washed it and you find out you missed a couple spots. That's completely normal. And that's one reason I prefer to do it wet, and why a lot of salons do it wet, because when your hair is dry, certain hairs might have a wave to it while others don't. And so in the long run, certain hairs will be cut shorter than others, and that's why while it's wet it can create a very uniform, easy to cut and style. Like I said, you just have to make sure to allow for some shrinkage to go on. So I'm just evening this up, and I think I'm pretty much done. For the Bettie Bane, you do a lot of curling as well as the style itself, which of course the style itself is the most important aspect, but curling it is what gives it that strong look. Alright, I got it all trimmed up, and who knows, I might go back in later and make it a little bit stronger. So as for styling, it's curled. You need to either use a flat iron or a curling iron or a foam roller or a hot roller. It really doesn't matter as long as it gives it a slight curl. And I'm just going to go in and with a flat iron just give it a slight curl. This gives it a bit of a bouffant, or not bouffant, I'm sorry, a bit of a pompadour look. Just giving it a little twist in and giving it some curve. Gives it a little texture, and this was very popular to the time period. Banes weren't usually just straight, as you often see now. They almost always had some curl going on. And so I think that's about it. What you think? So I'm going to go ahead and let down these pin curls. And as I said before, there's nothing special about these pin curls. They're just set really quick. They're kind of large. Follow my other pin curl videos if you want to know how to do this. I really do think this is best for just about any vintage hairstyle, but especially ones like Bettie Page. I was watching the Bettie Page movie, the Notorious Bettie Page, and her hair was, as beautiful as it was kind of limp compared to the real Bettie Page's hair. Her curls were very luscious, very full, and very strong, and the only thing that's really going to do that are pin curls. And then with a regular brush, just go in and brush out all the curls. Just keep brushing until you have a look that you like. The more you brush pin curls, the longer they hang, obviously, and you just keep messing with it when you're going for a certain style. For some added fullness at the crown area, you can always use a bump it or just do a little teasing. And if you want your bangs to be fuller, I have quite a full bang area, but if you don't, that's fine too. Just do a little bit of teasing underneath, where you just take it up like this, and just do not so much teasing as you are building volume by kind of pushing around the hairs. You don't want to add damage. Someone asked me in another video, doesn't teasing damage your hair? I have absolutely no damage to my hair, and I tease probably once or twice a week, and all I'm doing is just kind of pushing the hairs up rather than making rats, and that's kind of a healthy way to tease your hair. If your hair at this point is a little too on the frizzy side, just use some anti-frizz serum of any kind, basically leave-in conditioners, just any sort of gentle substance, clear liquids, gels, whatever, just to smooth down the hairs and give it a little bit of chic shine. I don't know what I'm trying to say in this video, but hopefully the demonstration helps more than what I'm saying. And that's it. So I now have Bettie Page bangs. I'm sure this will make it a little bit difficult for some of my future videos, but I will do my best to help with the videos that don't call for short bangs. I just might have to explain it more than demonstrate. So thank you for watching, and until next time, this is Aya.